Hello you guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be.
I'm Whitney. Keep it cute and get the boot.
What up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to be a part of the Witness gang, to join the Witness Nation. Now let's get into this, shall we? All right, you guys, welcome back. A long time no see or hear. Sorry, your girl has been catching up on graphics. Okay, I have a lot of projects that I've been getting, and so got to make sure that comes first. Okay, but not for nothing, I have been keeping myself abreast when it comes to this R. Kelly trial, and on the contrary, on tonight we will be continuing evidence over emotions. They called him daddy too. The story, or the John Doe's of R. Kelly, all right, that will continue on tonight as we hear more about nephew, okay, not his nephew but nephew, Alex's testimony in regards to his experience with R. Kelly. And I have some weird commenters that I'm going to address on tonight. I'm not going to address it now because it's not pertaining to this particular topic, but not for nothing. Just weird, their thought process of the whole ordeal. Let me just be very clear to you guys that tune in to the series. I am, again, yet reading transcripts, sweethearts, okay? And on the contrary, you can say that this is not true. R. Kelly's not gay. Oh, my God, these boys are lying, blah, blah, blah. But if you guys have been paying attention to the New York trial or any of these trials, there's video, okay? So I don't know what compartment in you guys' brain that isn't clicking with that. There's video. And as we were reading the transcripts, you heard about these alleged videos that the jury, okay, saw and heard, all right? And they saw still shots in particular of these John Does interacting with the Jane Does that were involved on other videos, okay? So this is not alleged. This is not stories. This is not books that I'm reading. These are transcript readings that these individuals had to bring about under oath, okay? So let's just be very clear about that, okay? Now, in particular, this story that we're going to be covering is an article, okay, from Chicago Tribune, okay? Jury begins deliberating in R. Kelly's federal trial in Chicago after more than 8 hours of closing arguments, okay? Now, let's go ahead and get into this article, okay? And it was brought to you, at 1 this afternoon, okay? After more than 8 hours of closing arguments over the past 2 days, juries in the Chicago federal case against disgraced R&B superstar R. Kelly and 2 former associates have begun their deliberations. U.S. District Judge Harry Lindenweber spent about 40 minutes reading instructions to the panel of 7 women and 5 men before sending them back to begin discussions shortly after 1 p.m. Goes on to say Kelly, 55, faces an indictment charging him with 13 counts of producing and receiving child pornography, enticing minors to engage in criminal sexual activity, and conspiracy to obstruction of justice. Now, also charged are former Kelly associates Daryl McDavid and Milton June Brown, who are accused in an alleged scheme to buy back incriminating sex tapes that had been taken from Kelly's collection and to hide years of alleged sexual abuse of underage girls. Now, before deliberations began, Kelly's attorney urged the jury in her closing argument Tuesday to put aside any preconceived notions they may have about the singer and see the humanity in him. When deliberating charges of child pornography and obstruction of justice, Jennifer Regine began her final presentation to the jury, asking them to treat Kelly like a John Doe, as some of his accusers have been. Not what they may have heard about him in the news or at the office. We are asking really the impossible of you, right? To put that all aside and decide this case based on only what was put into evidence, Bonjean said. Now, Bonjean told the jury that much of the unflattering evidence that has been presented about Kelly over the 4-week trial has absolutely nothing to do with the charges. I'm going to give my commentary after this. Including accusations and lawsuits brought by an attorney within industry of suing R. Kelly and mention of sex tapes involving backup dancers, a baseball player's wife, and even a man. Now, Bonjean said prosecutors are banking the jury relying on labels like sex predator instead of the actual evidence in the case, which was built on the testimony of liars and criminals and accusers that are a quarter century old. Now, it's meant for you to lose your humanity for this man and prevent you from really scrutinizing this evidence, Bonjean said. They want you to throw up your hands and say, it's R. Kelly. I want to go home and have dinner with my kids. Let's just sign this guilty verdict. Bonjean likened some of the witnesses in the case, many of whom received immunity from prosecution in exchange for their testimony, to finding a cockroach in your soup. Now, you don't just toss the roach and eat the soup, Bonjean said. You throw out the whole soup. There are just too many cockroaches with these witnesses. In her rebuttal argument Tuesday, however, Assistant U.S. Attorney Janice Appentage said the evidence was clear that Kelly was a serial sexual predator and that his co-defendants made the decision to help him hide it to line their own pockets. Now, what R. Kelly wanted was to have sex with young girls, Appentage said. And what the people around him wanted, they wanted to help their boss, including helping him get away with it. Appentage accused McDavid of repeatedly lying under oath when he testified in his own defense last week that he believed Kelly's denials about sexual abusing minors. Now, McDavid conveniently took himself out of the situations whenever it may have implicated him. Appentage said, including denying he traveled to Kansas City to help retrieve a sex tape of Kelly, having a threesome with a minor, and that he couldn't see the video at the heart of Kelly's 2008 trial, even though it was shown repeatedly in court. She urged the jury not to accept McDavid's incriminable after the fact concocted story, particularly his claims that he was just following the directions of Kelly's criminal defense attorney, Edward Ginson, his entertainment lawyer, Gerald Margolis, and private detective Jack Palladino, all of whom are deceased. Now, do not let him hide behind the supposed words of 3 dead men, Appentage said. The time has come. Hold him accountable. Appentage also said that the defense holding up Kelly's acquittal in that case as proof of their innocence was a red herring, because the conspiracy to keep the alleged victim, Kelly's goddaughter, Jane, from cooperating with law enforcement had worked. That jury was scammed, she said. They were scammed by Robert Kelly and his fixers. The case was fixed because Robert Kelly, Daryl McDavid, and others caused Jane to lie to the grand jury and be absent from trial. In her closing, Bonjean said prosecutors were actually getting some help from the co-defendants in this case. Lawyers for both McDavid and Brown argued on Monday that their clients were unaware that Kelly was sexually abusing Jane or other minors back in the 1990s and 2000s. In various ways throughout this trial, there has been this undercurrent of, well, R. Kelly may have abused Jane or may have abused young women, but we didn't know anything about it. Bonjean said, you cannot consider that. Instead, Bonjean suggested Kelly was the one who was in the dark. He struggled with his own serious sexual abuse trauma on his way to becoming this superstar, she said, and was someone who was entirely unequipped to handle all that comes with it. She goes on to say he had to rely on other people to handle the business of R. Kelly, Bonjean said, and it was quite a business. As Bonjean spoke, Kelly clasped his hands and looked down at the defense table. At times, his mask was pulled under his chin, revealing a somber expression. Her argument was accompanied by a slideshow emphasizing Bonjean's points, including memorable, a giant get-out-of-jail-free Monopoly card with witness Charles Freeman's head pasted on the body of the cartoon jailbird. And as Bonjean concluded, she displayed a slide with an urgent reminder in all caps. Every count counts. Now, Bonjean spent a lot of her nearly 2-hour argument talking about Kelly's relationship with Jane and her family, which continued far beyond her alleged abuse as a minor and was approved by her parents. It is an inconvenient reality for the government, Bonjean said. Lives are complex, and for all the fist-pounding and outrage, that family made a decision that they had to live with at that time. Jane's parents lied to the grand jury about her sexual relationship with the singer because they didn't care, Bonjean said. She was 17 and they didn't care, Bonjean said. They condoned it. Now, Bonjean noted that when the Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly was coming out in early 2019, Jane repeatedly reached out to Kelly, but he never tried to influence her in any way. He changed his phone number, she said. He goes silent on her. This is the most disinterested person in obstructing that I have ever seen. Bonjean also painted many of the women who accused Kelly of sexual misdeeds as liars and opportunists, particularly Lisa Van Allen, who called an extortionist and a thief. She is willing to frame men for, identity theft, sex trafficking. There is no crime, particularly this woman won't commit, Bonjean said. Bonjean noted that one of the alleged victims, Whitney, never even testified, even though prosecutors told juries in the opening statements they'd hear from her. Whitney. Who is Whitney? Where is Whitney? Bonjean shouted. We don't know anything about her. That's greed. That's greediness on prosecution's part, and it is not proper. Another alleged victim, Tracy, was also a liar, beginning with telling juries she was 16 when she met Kelly, when the evidence showed she was 17, Bonjean said. Tracy also testified that Kelly forced her to have a threesome with Jane, which Bonjean suggested was false. Everybody wants to claim a threesome with Jane, Bonjean says, noting that the allegations was not contained in her lawsuit, contained in her lawsuit against Kelly. Regarding the other alleged victims, Bonjean brought up the length of time it took to bring charges and the fact that the indictment was filed at the height at the Me Too movement. Even though we are in the era of believing women, there is not place for those types of sort of mob-like thinking in a courtroom, Bonjean said. In rebuttal, Appendage urged the jury to pay special attention to Jane's testimony and the videotapes of her abuse. You saw how Kelly was using her body, flipping her over, throwing her around like she was some rag doll, Appendage said. That's what this case is about. The arguments come as Kelly's trial has stretched into its 5th week in the Dirksen U.S. courthouse. Juries have heard from nearly 36 witnesses since mid-August. Toward the end of Monday's closing arguments, one juror informed authorities she was having a panic attack and she could not continue. Lyndon Weber dismissed her and replaced her with an alternate. The arguments began Monday with a scattering, methodical presentation from prosecutors and a fire and brimstone statement on behalf of Kelly's former business manager. The prosecution in the packed ceremonial courtroom started by reminding jurors of their strongest evidence against the singer, the multiple videos they viewed showing Kelly sexually abusing his 14-year-old goddaughter, Jane. Kelly and his team, they did their level best to cover up the fact that Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, the R&B superstar, is actually a sexual predator. They did their best, but in the end, they failed. Assistant U.S. Attorney Elizabeth Pozzolo said, "We are here today because those tapes that they concealed for 20 years are no longer their secret. You have seen the tapes. You have seen what Kelly did to Jane." Meanwhile, the attorney for McDavid told jurors in his closing arguments that the prosecution was riddled with reasonable doubt and based on untrustworthy witnesses, and that McDavid had no way of knowing whether Kelly was really sexually abusing minors. The man didn't know. Lawyer Bo Brentley said, they've got nothing. Their case can't be trusted. So that is the article, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into my thoughts in regards to this. First and foremost, I got tired with Bonjean steady jumping over the fact of the matter that you want to say how everything was okay and that they were in a relationship thereafter. And, you know, because she was 17. Let's be very clear for the monkeys in the back, all right? And I said what I said, okay? State and federal laws are totally different, okay? State can be 16, 17, whatever the case may be, but federal, it is 18 years old, okay? This man is in federal court for the federal charges at hand, all right? Federal always trumps state, period. Okay, I don't know why people aren't comprehending it or why they don't understand that, and that's why I refer to you guys as monkeys, and that means white, black, African, purple, green, blue, pink. Okay, you got to be ape batch crazy to not comprehend that and not get that, and furthermore, you got to be on that same level of ignorance to not understand that there was videos, people. Okay. This is not no just a fluke, if you will. They had evidence. And, you know, on the contrary, those that don't really pay attention to other news, when Harvey Weinstein got the book thrown at him, it's because of a audio, that was captured. You can't go against what is there. You feel me? Especially when it's video. All right. But yeah, that's what got him, and they've played that audio before on the documentaries that are out there about him too, So the fact of the matter is that they have evidence, and why people keep overlooking that and acting as if that people are making this up, or we just want to be talking out the side of our necks. We don't want to. It's just facts, evidence over emotions, like I say here, facts over feelings, So my thing is that why they keep throwing that out there, that they have nothing, that there is nothing, it's just ridiculous, if you ask me. And for Bonjean to keep putting this insinuation like out there that, the parents didn't care, she was 17. Well, probably by then they didn't. But boo-boo, why you keep going over the fact, Mary, that he was messing with this girl when she was 12, 13, 14 years old? And for people to be so sickening to say that, I know he's a monster, but it ain't no buts, baby. What's weird enough to me is how people would go from the fact of the matter, he was acquitted, to now we're seeing why he was acquitted. All of what happened in the midst of why he got quote unquote acquitted. And that is about to be overturned here. Why does that not register in your head? Like, all these years we ran with that. Well, I didn't. I knew he was guilty. But all these years we ran with the fact of the matter that he got acquitted and, CCC, only to now see why he got acquitted. What happened to the young lady in the trial back in 2008. Now we're hearing all of this. This particular trial is very important. And this particular sentence is going to be, this particular verdict is going to be very, very important. Do I believe everybody played a part? I absolutely do. Do I believe McDavid when he says, I didn't know, and, now I understand now? Nah, Ninja. I think you always knew. That's why when he didn't pay you your money, you sue him, and you made a point, and I'm gonna have to find it if he ain't went on his Twitter and deleted it. But y'all remember I did it where he shared an article, and in this article he speaks about knowing where all the bones are and where everything is at and all this stuff like that. If I find it, I'm gonna put it in this video somewhere in here, but not for nothing. I think I'm gonna run that video back and re-upload that, child, because I don't think people was paying attention to that. I just thought this was kind of interesting, okay? And I don't know if you guys were privy to, if you guys even remember. I didn't, because I was not jocking R. Kelly like that, okay? But back in 2014, this was reported by Urban Islands. R. Kelly former manager files lawsuit against singer. Okay, now this was published back in August 19, 2014. It's all gonna make sense. Y'all know it's a method to my madness. Just join me, okay? R. Kelly former manager Darrell McDavid is suing the singer for being ungrateful. Darrell McDavid managed R. Kelly's career for decades and took him from nobody to somebody. But the two parted ways last year. So this was back in 2013 when they parted ways, okay? Mind you, this is 2014, all right? After their relationship went sour, okay? Now it goes on to say, according to TMZ, both Kelly and McDavid agreed that the R&B singer would pay him $1.3 million. Okay, R. Kelly has since paid just $300,000 and was supposed to make a $40,000 monthly payment for 18 months. He has not made any of those payments, so McDavid is suing him for the $1 million balance. Sources says Darrell McDavid has a lot of R. Kelly's dark secrets dating back 20 years and could be out for getting revenge. Now, y'all, again, this was back in 2014. here we are to this present date, and Darrell McDavid is now done got caught up in the whim of R. Kelly and his shabakals. Okay, now if you guys don't know, he has some pending counts: conspiracy to defraud the United States, destruction, alternation, falsification, RCDS Fed investigation, activities, rematerial, constituting, contacting child porno, activities, rematerial, constituting, containing child porno, activities, rematerial, constituting, containing child pornography, and 18 to 8 in a bed. Okay, and these are felony charges. Okay, and so I just was thinking, you know, I said I wouldn't be surprised if he cooperates with the federal investigation. Mind you, this article was dating back 2014, and he owed, I don't know his current balance, because that was what, let me see, this was last year when everything popped off. Well, he got arrested a year before that, but let me see, 7 years later. This is 7 years later, and so actually this was filed back in 2019. So at that point in time, with the filing of this particular charge, that was 5 years later. Okay, and 6 with them parting their ways. See, I was under the impression that they were still all together. Even the other dude that's on the case, what's his face? Let's look him up. What's his name? Milton. Okay, because he's even in the trial. What's the dude? I don't know what he was. Milton Brown. I want to say, was he the attorney or something like that? No. Whoever he was. Okay. But Milton. Okay, he's a part of the investigation as well. So I thought this was all still present. He was still currently involved with R. Kelly, but I guess not. And then get this, y'all, I had found a tweet where Darrell actually, he admits it. He admits that he was suing him. Let me see if I can pull it up and we can read it. Okay, here it is. And this goes back, and actually, this is August 19th, okay? And the article, August 19th. So I guess this article was factual at this present time, because listen to this. Darrell tweets August 19th of 2014, okay? Yes, I sued R. Kelly, and he tags him. But the quotes in the press aren't my words. We're in court because he broke promise to pay what he owes. I hate making news. Okay? Now, mind you, okay, the next day, y'all heard me what I just read. He retweets this article. R. Kelly, former manager, files lawsuit against singer Urban Islands. Okay. So he retweeted that to, I guess, to say, yeah, you know, this is factual what this particular one is saying. Okay. Then he goes on the 2 days later, August 22nd, and posts R. Kelly sued by the manager who always stood by him. Okay. And he tags this particular article. I clicked it. It doesn't exist anymore. But I'm just like, whoa, inquire minds like to know. And this is his page. He goes on to keep posting years after that. His last post being 2 years ago. December 10th of 2020. Okay? So I am at a loss for words, because I'm just thinking, What do y'all think? It just seems to me that it could be a situation to where he corroborates. I can see him folding and corroborating, you know what I'm saying? Especially with the article saying that he could be seeking revenge and stuff like that. Like, I mean, federal time, you guys, is day for day for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, we read the indictment here. If I can find it, I will put the link somewhere here because y'all be trying to test my gangster, okay? See, we do stuff like this. See, I'm actually putting dockets and information on here. This ain't just no allegedly article reading. No, this is, yeah, I did my research on this one. And it was just interesting because I was just like, wow, here we are years later, and he is in the midst of the kerfuffle. And this is what I believe R. Kelly was paying him for, to get rid of all this stuff. And they found all the stuff that he was getting paid to get rid of. And it's kind of like, now what's fixing to happen? Is he just going to throw, R. Kelly, under the bus? Inquire minds would like to know. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why he sued us. But give me my money or we're going to have some problems. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't believe it. I don't. I think that it's like, now he's having to do that because he wants to in turn distance himself. He can't keep going on now with hearing all of what he hear and say, oh, well, no, that's not true. He can't do that. They will eat him alive. But what he can do is say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, no. Oh, my God, I wish I would have known that back then. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he did it. I believe you now. Oh, Jane, I'm so sorry. They got to play into that because it goes along with the whole thing, what they didn't know. And what it does is it puts the blame back on R. Kelly. Back in a sense on Jane, and hey, Jane lied, the parents lied, but then it all puts that back on R. Kelly. Well, they lied because, you know what I'm saying? So I am excited to hear that the jurors are deliberating. What say you? What say you on how long this deliberation is going to take? I think that we'll probably hear something within the week. I wouldn't be surprised within 24 hours. I don't think they're going to deliberate that long. I think this is really open and closed, if you ask me. If you ask me, and this is aside from the fact of the matter who R. Kelly is, it's just what they presented in court. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they didn't have the hiccup that they had, I want to say last week or earlier this week, it wouldn't even went into this week. We probably would have heard something by last week, but they had like a situation at the court. So they had to take that day off and it pushed the trial back even more so. But us going into this 5th week, it wouldn't have really happened. It wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and for McDavid to try to use the fact of the matter of these 3 dead people that can't speak, and if I'm not mistaken, one of them actually knew that R. Kelly was guilty. And y'all remember we read that in Soulless, the case against R. Kelly, how I think it was Edward Ginson. He was saying, he knew he was guilty or whatever the case may be. But, the attorneys, they like getting off people that they know that are guilty, And I think this is the same way for Bone Jangles. But unfortunately, her track record ain't been doing her any justice. If you ask me, she came in at a fluke of a whim when it came to Bill Cosby, only to have him lose the next case involving the same situation. And now here we are with R. Kelly. He lost his case in New York. And here we are, he's about to lose this one too. And what it is setting the stage for Bone Jean, for her next person that she's going to rally for. Okay, it's weird enough to hear her rubbing on his back while she's, in trial with him and stuff like that. That's just a little too personable for me. And what it reminds me of, and I was talking to somebody about this, but what it reminds me of is the, what I think is, what's that man name that was going against his ex-wife or whatever? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Pirate of the Caribbean dude. And, his attorney was doing the same thing. Come to find out, I think they talking or whatever now, or they were or whatever. But that's all alleged, y'all. Don't hold me to that. But it's just weird, how Bojangles was, pictured, having, her hand, behind his back. He all right. That big ninja ain't no little boy. He 55 years old. If I'm not mistaken, probably older than her behind. Child, please, what are you rubbing on his back for? And, he all right. He okay. He don't feel like he did anything wrong. That man is psychotic. And if we let him out tomorrow, he's going to be feeling on some little boy or some little girl's booty, okay? Preferably the first, okay? So, I mean, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about here? So, anywho, not for nothing, y'all. It's your turn. Tell me what y'all think down in the comments below. Tell me, what do you think the verdict is going to be? Now, I'm going to try my best to do a live coverage in regards to the deliberation of it all, and see if we can possibly get a verdict on today. If not, for sure tomorrow. But I am going to be trying my best to cover the footage in regards to this particular verdict, okay? Love you guys so very much. And until next time, keep it cute, all right? Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. While you're there, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I'll see you on the next video. Deuces. What up, what up? Hey, lovelies. We are now on Apple Podcasts. Yes. For my iPhone users, just a little something for you. Head over to the Apple Podcast app and type in Whitney DTV in the search bar and click the check to add me to your dashboard and listen to your girl on the go. Powered by Anchor FM by way of Spotify.